How's your homework coming along? Okay, I know how it goes. Sometimes you get a little behind. Sometimes you think, well, I'm just going to quit this because I can't keep up with it. Don't do that. If you find yourself a week or two behind, just go right where we are right now. Start there and keep pressing on. Okay, if you have time, you go back and pick it up. But if you try to catch up, try to catch up, try to catch up, you'll rarely do that. Okay, so this is video number 3 of lesson number 3, and we're looking at the last part of the 4th chapter of Luke. So what we see here is that Jesus now goes to Capernaum, and he teaches in the synagogue, as was his habit. Remember, we saw that last time. And there was a man in the synagogue that had an unclean spirit, a demon. And the way his phrase is actually sort of interesting, like, can there be a clean demon? No, no. This was an unclean spirit, a demonic spirit in this gentleman. I find it interesting that he's in the synagogue, he's in church. And you say, oh, well, that doesn't happen today. Yes, it does. Yes, it happens quite often. And it should. Those who come should be set free. They should be delivered of demonic activity. Quite often we don't do that, though. We have way too many people who profess to be believers who are sitting out in the pews that are under the influence of demons, and we've just sort of learned how to massage them and pacify them rather than setting people free. Jesus set the people free. So Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit, and the spirit came out of him. And the people were amazed. They were astonished. You see this throughout these accounts, how they were amazed, they were astonished at Jesus' authority. Now, what I like, and we see this in a couple of these examples in this lesson, and we'll see as we go along, is that they were attracted to Jesus by his authority in teaching. Okay, in teaching and in the commanding of the spirits. Yes, the commanding of the spirits, telling the spirits to leave and setting the captive free, as he had read from Isaiah 61. But they came for his teaching also because he taught the truth. People want to know what the truth is. So Jesus leaves the synagogue and he goes to Simon's home. When he gets there, he finds out that Simon's mother-in-law is sick. He goes in at the behest of the people. The people come to Jesus and say, hey, Mama is in there sick. And so he goes to her and he rebukes the fever. Another thing I find interesting, because we today know that a fever is sort of the symptom of something that is causing that. And so he goes in and speaks to that fever and commands it to go. She is immediately healed. She gets up. She starts serving them. Well, the word had already gone out that he was in the area and what was happening. So many sick and demon-possessed came and they were delivered. And the scripture actually tells us this at sunset, so it shows us that Jesus is having a long day of doing this. When the demons came out, they're calling him the Holy One of God, and they're calling him the Son of God, but the Lord silenced them. He will not let them speak. Now, why is that? Well, the word doesn't tell us forthrightly and overtly why, but there's probably 2 or 3 reasons. First of all, he doesn't need the demon's affirmation to everybody else of who he is. Also, it wasn't the point in time yet for him to be revealed in this way. Something else you also see is that at the end of several of these encounters like this, pay attention to this, you'll see that Jesus leaves and he goes to a secluded place. Sometimes he'll go and pray at night. Sometimes he'll spend the whole night. We'll see that in next week's lesson, or maybe in this, next week's lesson, that he spends the whole night praying. He wants to be with the Father. He needs to be with the Father. You'll see that this is a pattern. It's probably a pretty good pattern for us to emulate, right? They tried to keep him in Capernaum, but he says, no, I have to go and preach to the other cities. May we go and do likewise. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.